Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Young. I'm just going to walk you through the 2025 ESG report for Walmart. My agenda is pretty basic. I'm just going to go through my biography, the Walmart ESG metrics. I'll talk a little bit about what I've seen in the report, where the company's heading, and just overall what's going on in terms of sustainability side in general. So here's a brief bio about myself. I'm a CPA. I have over 35 years experience, and it's a cross section of experience. So I've worked in corporate reporting. I work with IT solutions where I've deployed over 300 plus data and AI solutions across geography. I've worked in ESG area for well over 20 years. I'm all about reporting the data and integrating that data into the operation, management, and regulatory reporting cycles. So here's a look at Walmart here. So the big focus here that you're seeing with this report is they didn't hit their emissions. Their actually emissions went up year over year. However, that being said, the overall emissions since they started reporting are down significantly, almost 20%. So they have made strides. They're still investing in solutions to reduce their emissions as overall ESG reporting in terms of the social governance area. But as they've alluded in their report, some of the technology isn't there. And that's not germane just to Walmart. Other companies are struggling in that way as well. So it'll be interesting to see how companies align their metrics with the technology. And that's especially around the energy side when you're looking at virtual power plants, power generation companies like Energy and other ones like Pacific Gas and Electric, how they move their loads to cleaner sources. Virtual power plants will play a role in that. So it'll be interesting as the technology evolves, so will the power generation capacity. The other point to take away from this is the Sustainability Magazine just released their top 250 companies. Walmart's ranked 240, and as you can see, they're nestled in between Ferrari, Maersk, Sunbury, and BlackRock. So they're low on the totem pole, but due to the size of the organization, they have 4,600 locations geographically dispersed, predominantly in the US and Canada. So each geographic area has its own challenge in terms of its grid and its own policies in terms of what's available there. So it's something to bear in mind. This gives you an idea of three areas you're focusing on. The far left-hand corner is talking about the emissions in terms of how much they have come down since 2015. Far right-hand side is talking about, though the emissions came up with their fleet management, they're trying to get more and more control over scope 3, which is part of the supply chain emissions. So they're trying to get better state control over policy. So you're looking at the bottom two buckets are talking more about the operational perspective in terms of the HVAC systems, refrigerations, in terms of how they're handling that, in terms of the emissions and all the energy requirement efficiency. They're also talking a bit about how they're hiring more HVAC people to build up their own maintenance team to keep abreast in how they're going to transform all this. They've basically so far converted or modernized 410 of their locations, so that's less than 10% of them. So it'll be interesting to see how much they do that. At this rate, it would take them 10 years if they're doing 400 locations per year to achieve the modernization of the facilities. And that also means, too, is the account of capital. They have to allocate there along with other priorities because they have been focusing on their digital footprint, their online delivery, and other aspects of their operation. So ESG is part of their solution, but it's also they have other priorities too, because at the end of the day, they still have to achieve their market value and their stock growth and overall net earnings.